come together and talk. So you can tell us what's on your mind, and we can tell you what's supposed to be done. There have been a lot of officers that have done things that have been out of character. And like Captain Green, this is not just a job, this is my career. I've been in law enforcement longer than most of you have been alive. So this is a career. So when I see officers misuse their authority, I get offended because it affects me. It's those looks I get when I go into the store. I didn't do it, but because somebody with a badge did it, I have to pay the consequences. And we know that there have been officers that have done things that's have not been proper. But there's also been a lot of things on the other side that have not been proper. So how do we fix it? We have to come together and talk about it. You need to know who I am. Other than when you're on the side of the road or somebody's broken into your house or you have been assaulted. We need to talk about that. I'm a good ally to have. This man right here is a good ally to have. If you live in Orangeburg, all the cars you see riding around in Orangeburg, the ones that unfortunately might have pulled you over before, all those guys work for me. I'm a good ally to have. I'm just not that guy. I have a family just like you, but we need to talk. And I tell my children, when you have to interact with police, and I still tell them today, and they have their own families, you just do what you have to do. You give them what they need, and then when you get through, you call me, we'll deal with it that way. Because what happens when you start verbalizing and everybody gets excited and the verbal argument starts? What happens? Emotions kick in, and it always escalates. That's not the place for it. Deal with that and move on, because everybody needs to change their attitude. Community and law enforcement likewise, because we work for the community. So we're here to find out what your thoughts are. That's why I'm here. Because when I find out what your thoughts are, those 80 guys that work for me, I can relay that. I can relay that. My phone rings all day and I talk to people about what they didn't like about what public safety does. But we have to talk about it. You do have a voice, and you have the right to share that voice, but there's a way and a place you need to do it. And unfortunately, on the side of the road is not a place to do it. In the parking lot of some club where somebody else is fighting, it's not the place to do it. We have to do it. We have to talk to you. And sometimes, hey, you have to hear those hard truths. But the truth of the matter is, things need to change. And that's why I'm here, because I want those things to change. I'm going to be retiring soon, but I still want those things to change. Because I have children and I have grandchildren that are growing up, and when they interact with police, I still want them to do that one thing I told you to do. I want them to come home. So I'm going to stop. I can go on, Captain Green. Before I do that, any questions for me? Do we have time for that? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Any questions for me?